Welcome to Balanced Life with Debbie Carlin Boyle. Conversations connecting to a healthier you. The show that gives you all the latest and greatest health and wellness information to inspire you to live a life of balance and joy. Debbie Carlin Boyle is a health and nutrition coach, personal trainer, and fitness instructor who helps her clients live in balance with everything that feeds us, in addition to the food on our plate. Please welcome your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my show, Balanced Life with Debbie Carlin Boyle. I want to invite you today to become part of the conversation because we have a really good conversation for you. And the phone number here is 323-284-7826. And when you hear about what we're talking about today and the conversation that I'm going to have with my guests, and you feel compelled, go ahead and give us a call. Or you can go to my Facebook page, Balanced Life by Debbie, and you can watch us live, and you can make a comment, and we will respond after the show. Either Neil or I will do that. So excited for my guest today, because one of the things when we talk about balance or a balanced life, it's virtually impossible to not include financial well-being. Money management is a huge part of living a stress-free life, and my guest today helps people do just that. Neil Palache is the founder and CEO of the Wealth Creator Company. The Wealth Creator Company is dedicated to coaching and educating single, divorced, and widowed women as they strive to establish their own financial well-being while moving forward and ultimately reaching financial independence. He does this using his trademark Wealth Creator system, which he developed in 1998. This one-on-one, fee-based financial coaching process teaches women how to take control of their finances and feel confident about how to better handle their money. Neil is dedicated to empowering women, as is shown by his involvement in many community and business organizations, such as the National Association of Women Business Owners in Ventura County, Women's Economic Ventures, and the International Women's Festival Santa Barbara. He has also started several groups, such as the Money's Women Forums and the Divorce Transition Professionals, which I am proud to say I am a member of. So much to talk about today. So will you please join me and welcome my guest, Neil Palache, to my show.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Thank you for having me on today.
Oh, you're welcome, Neil. Thank you for coming and taking time out of what I know is a busy day for you, because as a coach, you go from here to there, you work with people, you have a lot of things you're involved in. So for taking this hour out of your day in the middle of a Tuesday, I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, too. Thank you for having me on.
I want to, when I met you, you introduced yourself because I am part of this divorce transition group, and I did it. It's a networking group where we are a group of professionals that help people, women especially, going through divorce transitions. And I'm like a health practitioner in there to have other professionals refer me. Mm-hmm. What led you up to what you're doing today? Where did you, first off, we can hear an accent. So let's start with, where are you from?
I have an accent? Yes, I do have an accent. Slightly to the east.
Yes.
All the way to the east.
Over
an ocean.
You keep
London,
going.
England.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I came out here from London, England in 1979.
And what brought you out here?
My parents.
Okay. There was opportunity.
Didn't have a choice, right. We all came together, and it was a very exciting move as a family unit. My dad came out here and got a job and started a business, and I went to college, and my sister went to school, and here we were starting our new life now 40 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. And how do you like it here?
I love it.
Yeah. Land of opportunity.
Yeah,
lots of stuff to do out here in, the United States and California. It offers so much.
Yeah, amazing.
And did you go to school for finance, or what?
Well, I went to school. Good question. So I went to college. In fact, I went to Pierce College in the Valley. I went to Cal State Northridge.
Okay.
And I was focused on political science, and I was going to go to law school.
Oh.
So there was some economic classes in there and so on and so forth, but I wasn't necessarily going toward finance at that time. And then I met somebody who, long story short, I'll make it short, introduced me to somebody in the life insurance business. So in 1983, I began my career as a financial advisor in the life insurance business, became securities licensed, became a registered investment advisor, and
So became very educated
Yeah,
in that world.
did
And
all
what
that,
did you find? Did you start to realize that there were mostly women who were going through transitions in their life that needed help the most in that
Well,
financial sector?
yeah, I mean, early in my career, I mean, I was 21. So early in my career, in my 20s, I wasn't yet realizing
Tapped
that.
into
Yeah,
that.
I was
Yeah,
working
that's
with any.
young.
Yeah, so anybody that wanted to work with me, I'm happy to work with them. Married, single, men, women, that was fine. And so I did that though for 25 years. So I got married when I was 25. And as I progressed in my career and I grew and other people around me grew, you could see divorces happening, and unfortunately people died or people never got married or whatever. So after 25 years, I decided I wanted to kind of make that transition myself to not specifically managing money and selling insurance, which is what I was doing, but
Right.
rather coaching and consulting, teaching.
And what was the precipice for that? I mean, what there must have been either a lot of little things that came your way that said this is where I should be, or there was one event, or what is it that you decided this is the better place for me? I see a niche. I have some longevity in this career. What pushed you to that?
Well, there was a coaching company out of Canada called Strategic Coach, and they kind of said, look, you need to, if you want to move forward and grow as an entrepreneur, you need to create something that's yours, and nothing that you're doing is yours. You're selling other
Smart.
people's life insurance, other people's product, other people's investments, and so forth. So I started getting that kind of a attitude about what it
There you
was I
go.
wanted to do down the road, and ultimately decided that in order to do that, I need to kind of cut the cord because the securities licenses and the compliance and regulations around that are very restrictive.
Right. And you
So,
can only
yeah,
go
I
so
couldn't,
far.
like
Yeah.
being on a radio show, I would have to script it to them. What am I going to say? What am I going to answer?
for all the legal.
Yeah, oh, you can't say that and you can't say
Yep.
this. So I decided time for me to move on.
Move on. And what year? Tell me the year again. That you made
So that was finally transitioned in about 08, 09.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so about 10 years. 11
So
years.
about 10, 11 years you've been doing this.
Yes.
And what made you like work your way into working with women? Because you're pretty exclusive in working
Yeah.
with women only.
Yeah.
We talked about this before the show.
Right. Well,
Like-
that was another coach. I'm a big believer in coaching.
Well, you know,
know,
and
you're
I
a
think
coach,
I'm a
so,
coach,
yeah.
yeah. And I think what people do is they spark something in us
Yeah.
and coaches understand how to critical think and ask high mileage questions
Mm-hmm.
to get you to zero in. It's what we were talking about before the show. Ultimately, we have it in here. We kind of know. I know when I'm working with a client what's best for them. You know, but they need to know what's best for them, and they do know, but I need to bring it out in them. And that's what a coach is, you become good at as a coach.
Yeah.
So that's why talking to other coaches help each other.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
can understand. So a coach helps you
Right,
find your niche.
Right. So I hired her, and she took me on, and she said, "Look, first thing is you have to find a niche."
Mm-hmm.
That was the first. I was a generalist when I was in the investment insurance business.
Yeah,
I
and
would
that's a
just-
wide field. and
yeah.
A lot of people are doing that. So how are people going to lock into you?
Right.
you
So
know?
and she came up with the idea of number one working with women, but then breaking it down further to divorced and widowed women. And I thought, wow, I that just spoke to me, and I decided right then, boom, this is
Yeah.
what I'm going to do.
Light
I
bulb.
changed all my marketing materials. I changed my website, and literally the next day after we'd made the decision, everything changed, and that's what I started
And there was
doing.
some kind of trickle down effect when that happened, right? Because once you got a single pointed focus like that,
Yeah.
and I'm sure the referrals became, things started happening because you became very centered and very passionate about what you do.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, to some degree, there were challenges because people said, what do you do?"
Yeah.
You know, like it was a bit odd because
Yeah.
I wasn't a financial advisor anymore, but you're still kind of advising. I'm not really advising anymore. Like I don't get into the specifics of
You don't
what's-
manage their money
what
for them.
stock to buy
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
Tell
And,
our audience what it is you do specifically. And then we'll
so
talk
if you
about the
have,
people.
so I'm working, let's say, with a divorced woman. If my average client is probably 50 years old,
Mm-hmm.
but 40 to 60, 40 to 65, and they come to me after they've been divorced. So it's kind of post-divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the next day, or it could be 2 or 3 years after they're divorced, and they're a little overwhelmed. Now they've got to do everything themselves, right?
Right.
They don't have a partner to work with anymore.
Right.
And sometimes in that partnership, they were already doing everything. Okay, but now they would like some help doing it.
Exactly.
Or in some cases,
somebody to bounce something off
right?
of,
And in some cases, they weren't doing any of it.
No.
And they're like, oh my God, they're like a deer in the headlights. Like,
Yeah.
what's all this? I mean, I've walked into people's homes where they haven't opened the mail.
Yeah.
Because
So they have no idea that they have bills to
this
pay
one says
and things to
IRS.
do.
So I'm not opening that.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're
What might
scared
that
of they're
be?
scared of it. They're afraid
Yeah,
of
in
money.
some cases. So
Yeah.
it depends. And
Yeah.
some are business women that are
just
veteran. I mean, they know what they're doing, but they would like some help.
and I have to say, and to our audience, I have to say, I work with Neil, and I am a divorced woman who's in her 60s, and I needed financial advice, and I didn't have that person, that significant other, the person who you would bounce stuff off of, who's your speed dial on your cell phone. To say, well, what do you think about this? What should I do? What's the smart way to handle this?
Right.
And what should I do with that? And working with Neil has put really some perspective into and some reality, and also understanding and confidence that it gave me. It's very empowering to understand where your money's going, why it's going there, and what it's going to do for you. Or not, or how to manage it. Just to manage it is very self-satisfying.
Well, I'm glad this is being recorded, because I'm now going to I'm going to
I'm
use
your
that
endorsement.
now.
But that's one of the reasons why you're on my show, is because part of me being unhealthy during the whole process of the divorce, and I was with somebody for 35 years, so you can imagine the financial thing became a really front and center thing. Part of me being unhealthy was my finances were not being handled the way because I had nobody to talk to about it. I didn't want to get into my private stuff with friends or family. So I needed somebody like you, who's a professional, who privately will work with me, and it's just one-on-one, you and I, and it's really made a difference, and I have to thank you for that.
You're
so
welcome. Thank
I
you.
am one of your demographics, I must say, and I think it's helping me to bring my overall, all those things that feed us in life that make for a healthier person. It is bringing my financial end of it more into alignment with, instead of being very low on that wheel.
Good.
So I thank you for that.
You're welcome. Good.
So they come to you, and depending on where they're at, and I have to say, I'm somewhere in the middle. I was smart with my money, as you know, but I was also needed help deciding, here's what I have, where should it go? What should I do? What should I not do? How do I budget myself smartly, But you have all ends of that spectrum. So they come to you, and you really help people get through it. How do you do that? What is the...
Well, the first order of the day is to assess. Like, where is it? Now, sometimes somebody's coming to me and they're saying, I know I need help here. And I look at it and I think, yeah, you do. Like, that's it's obvious to them. Sometimes they come to me and they're like, well, I feel like I'm all over the place. I don't know exactly where to begin. So then my job is to assess their situation, see, well, what do you know? What don't you know? So we don't have to focus on what you already know.
Yeah.
We now know that you know it. Good. But here's a whole bunch of stuff that you don't know. Like, you don't know how to use online software, but you need to, or you've never done bill pay, or it's more complex than that. You've never bought or sold a house, and you may be moving in that direction where you need to understand that process.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to sell them the house or sell their house. They're going to bring. I'm going to bring in a realtor and a mortgage broker and so on and so forth. And that's the other part of it, is to assess who else do they need on their team?
We have a phone call.
Yes. All right.
Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes,
Hi. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Cinda Chatfield, and I'm calling from Westlake Village.
Hi, Cinda. How are you? Thank you for calling
Hi.
the show today.
Hi, Cinda.
You guys
Hello there.
know each other. Do you have a question or comment for Neil today?
Well, I have a comment. I have been watching, and I think Neil was just describing me when he was describing what his typical client is like. In my 50s, divorced a few years ago, and so I have had Neil working with me and coaching me, and you are amazing.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And I just wanted to share that. And not only that, but I didn't know until I asked him about working with my daughters. I have 2 young adult daughters that unfortunately followed my lead when it came to finances.
Right.
My ex-husband handled everything. And when it was time for me to take over and do things on my own, I was lost. And I'm seeing that my children were lost. So Neil has started to work with them as well.
Good
and
idea.
It's changed our lives.
Really good idea.
Yeah.
And I have 2 daughters, and Neil, that's a really good idea because it's true. I mean, our kids tend to follow our lead, or they do what they see, or do it, and if we don't show them, they don't really have courses in high school or college. Maybe they do now, but when my kids are older, to help them manage their money, and I realized that my kids, they do it well now, and one of the reasons why they do is because they saw what happened to me post divorce, and I think
the best thing about Neil is the kids don't always listen to who they should in their family. And Neil, being somebody who's a little bit removed, I was a little concerned, but when he started working with them, Neil, you have such compassion when working with my girls and discussing the delicate nature of finance. And they walked away really motivated and excited. And I think Debbie had mentioned this earlier, not just your knowledge, but your passion. It's contagious, and you're so sensitive when working with such delicate, matters of our life. It can be very embarrassing.
Wow.
And
I think I might be blushing.
I think you are.
I'm a behavior specialist, so I'm even more sensitive to this, and everything about your presence and your the way you present yourself is very positive, nurturing, and non-judgmental, because I'm looking at the tone of voice, your body language, what you're saying, how you're responding, and I'm sorry, but I'm a fan.
Well, Cinda, that's great.
Hey, no apology necessary.
And I think you are very spot on in that we are dealing with a very delicate subject, and people are very emotional about money because they either love it or hate it, and to help them find that balance and that in-between place, again, is part of well-being. And you really, having financial well-being is really big part of being healthy throughout your life. So thank you, Cinda.
Thanks, Cinda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to keep watching.
Oh,
All
good.
right.
Thank you. Thank
See
you.
you soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye
Thanks,
now.
Cinda.
Bye-bye.
True.
That was
you
nice.
know, it's an emotional, and the fact that you're patient and understanding, and if you don't have an answer, you've said to me, you know what, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, exactly.
And as a coach, we know we don't always have the answers, but we can certainly do some research and see what that all means. And you're very gentle about it, and I can see where she's coming from. Which is
I
good.
forgot that. I mean, so when Cinda mentioned working with her daughters, I mean that's just been a pleasure, and
I didn't
the
realize.
three of us I've met with them individually, but we've also, like, the three of us have sat in a room. 4 of us, I'm sorry, have sat in a room, and it's helpful because you can see everybody's different approach.
Yeah.
When you've got 3 women, a mum and 2 daughters, 3 women in a room. They're adult women.
And everybody has a different relationship with money,
They
and there
do,
are different money types. I mean, there's a show here. Michelle Perkins has a show here called Limit Free Life, and she is a financial coach. and she does the archetypes of different, of the way different people handle money. And I actually had a session with her, and a lot of stuff became very clear to me on I handle money this way because of this, or how I, not just because of how I was raised, but how it makes me feel emotionally, spiritually, physically, what it does or doesn't do for you. And you have a really good grip on that for understanding a client's personality and getting their. So tell us about, we kind of got the idea of like who you work with, and so you were talking a little bit about how you work. How would you describe that in a nutshell? And, in terms of putting a client, let's say, one-on-one through, we have another call.
Wow.
Okay. No, we don't have another call. Oh, my gosh, we're down to our last 5. So tell me in a nutshell how you work, and then I want to hear about what you do that isn't one-on-one.
Right. So the one-on-one coaching is all structured in what I would consider a typical coaching model. I'm going to see you every week, or I'm going to see you every 2 weeks, or in some cases I'm going to see you every month. So a client will come in and will assess and say, okay, well, a 90-day program might be a good place to start, or maybe in some cases, they would like a whole year, and that's structured differently. But then we determine, well, am I going to see you? What would you like? What do you think? So I'll give them my impression. I think every 2 weeks is fine, or I think weekly would be fine. It's kind of like going to the chiropractor.
Yeah.
Like, what is necessary?
What's the injury?
Yeah. Right.
And what is it going to take to heal?
Yeah, because sometimes...
Get it.
Sometimes with some clients, if you go every 2 weeks, or if you go monthly, you get to the second session, it's a do-over.
Yeah.
And you're not able to move forward.
No, you got to keep
you
progressing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've experienced that in fitness.
If they're not doing stuff in between without me, or they're not using me on a consistent basis, they're not going to see the results.
Exactly.
And
So it would
it's
be
the same
similar
thing.
in that regard. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, personally.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it totally. So, and you have different programs because you offer different programs to me for people. What do you do? We talked about a group that you have, this women's
the Women's Money Mastermind.
What is that? Is that an online course?
Actually, no. That was It was a live thing that I was doing every month.
Okay.
It's not actually active at the moment. So, but what I had been doing for many years, every month I would have a speaker come in, and I would only invite women.
Be like a
clients and
day
non-clients.
conference kind of thing.
It was an evening thing. It was like wine and cheese type of a thing in
right.
the evening for a couple of 3 hours. And I did it for free. I mean, that was something that I felt was important to do. I guess to some degree it was a way for people to have an introduction to me.
Of course,
sometimes clients would come. Sometimes it would be people that had never met me before, that kind of thing.
Or, and people could use you as a referral once they meet you at something like
Yeah,
this,
exactly,
too.
right.
Because everybody, let's face it, everybody's got a friend who's gone through or is going through a divorce.
Yeah.
And usually in a divorce, there is a woman, not necessarily, but there is a woman involved. And even if she has a grip on her money, could always, once again, bounce something off someone like you, or is a professional like you who understands how money can work for them instead of against them.
Yeah.
For this new year of 2019, is there anything we should be aware of what is new in the financial world that we should understand about taxes or savings or anything coming? What's new in that financial world?
So the biggest issue that people need to be aware of are the tax law changes that were brought in. So you want to make sure, and not that I can't go over them with you in to some degree, but you want to make sure that you have a good CPA, a good accountant, an enrolled agent, a tax specialist, somebody that understands the new tax code and can give you good direction, because your income, let's say it was the same from 1 year to the next, will be treated differently now.
Okay.
Potentially. And your tax could be different.
To understand how.
Yeah,
and
because you
why.
could be going into it thinking, oh, well, it's going to be about the same.
Yeah.
And you could be thousands of dollars off.
Yeah.
Because of the tax law change. So you want to make sure that you understand that and get a little bit of a projection from your accountant.
And do you suggest different. I mean, part of our professional network is these are people that we refer people to each other.
Right,
You know, whether
exactly.
you're buying or selling a house, or whether you need a CPA, or whether you need a what are some of the other professionals we have?
Well, we've
there?
got estate
Yeah.
lawyers,
Estate
and
lawyers,
bankruptcy
right.
lawyers.
Yes.
We've got
Exactly,
private
lawyers.
investigators and appraisers, and
Mediators, yeah.
mediators, realtors,
Yeah.
mortgage brokers, financial advisors,
Right,
insurance agents.
right.
I mean,
So when
all
you
these
work with a
people.
client,
Yeah.
we have this network of people
It's
that we
fabulous.
can refer
Right.
people to, which is fabulous that you started this network and all these other things that you're involved in that are women's empowerment groups. Really, they're there to help women get through things by working in these groups.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're a man and doing it really is very impressive to me.
That's cool. Thank
It's
you.
very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the divorce transition professionals, while my business is women only, the divorce transition professionals work with anybody dealing
Yes,
with divorce.
as I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
not
yeah.
just women.
Right.
And it's phenomenal. Just to plug, I mean, we've got 14 chapters all over the two counties, Ventura and LA County.
So impressive.
If people need professionals, go to the divorcetransitionprofessionals.com and take a look. You're going to find them.
That's what I was just going
Yeah.
to ask you, because we're in our last minute.
There you go.
So how do people find you in all that you do? So
Right, so my website, thewealthcreatorcompany.com, that's the coaching website, and the divorcetransitionprofessionals.com, which is the network's website.
Right.
So you can find me in both of those places, and give us a shout out, whatever you need. If I can do one plug.
yeah, go ahead.
And I just want to make a point of this, that while divorce, we all know, is pushing the 50% mark, we all know that number as being about accurate. In the special needs community, families who have special needs kids, the divorce is like 75%. So I sit on the board of the Center for Special Needs in Thousand Oaks.
Okay.
And I want to give them a plug because we've got some programs that need funding. So if you want to go to center4specialneeds.org,
Okay.
please go take a look around.
There you
because
go.
we'd appreciate the help.
Very good. I'm so
right.
glad we could do that for
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
And I really appreciate, again, your time coming out here to share with
thanks.
us,
It's fun.
because I think getting your finances in order, I think there's wealth and health are synonymous with each other. And I'm not talking about wealth in terms of how much money you have,
Right.
but how savvy you are
Right.
about handling your
Yes,
finances.
and comfort, being
Yes.
comfort.
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
So thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. I appreciate
And I
it.
want to thank you guys for joining us today. I hope we sparked something within you. And if we did, go to my Facebook page, Balanced Life, make a comment. We'll get back to you. Bye, everybody. See you next week. Be well.